Hello, this is Brian Wells from the Department of Quantitative Health Sciences at the Cleveland Clinic, and I'm going to demonstrate some tricks for the risk calculator Constructor, which is available at makercalc.ccf.org. I'm assuming at this point that you've made a calculator previously and know a little bit about the site. If not, you can go there to view some of our other videos that will demonstrate how to get you started. The demonstration I'm going to give today is to show how to get the risk calculator to automatically calculate things like body mass index and glomerular filtration rate to make these calculators easier for use by the end user. So let me go ahead and click on the website and get logged in. And once there, I'm going to select a calculator that I made just to demonstrate this process today. This is a very simple calculator, hypothetical for mortality that just has a handful of variables. I've got one for age, body mass index, GFR, and gender. And there's the really simple regression equation that I made up for this process. So the first thing I'll show is how do we switch this BMI to height and weight and allow the calculator to determine the BMI automatically behind the scenes. So BMI is simply weight in kilograms divided by height in meters squared. If you're in Europe where you think of weight in kilograms and height in meters, it could be done right there. In the US, it gets a little more complicated. But we could use something like this. Now, one thing to be aware of, and this equation would use weight in pounds and height in inches. But one thing to be aware of is that this is for a temporary variable assignment in the risk calculator, and you want to make sure that you use a colon and equal sign after the variable name, your equation, and then to put a semicolon at the end. So I'm just going to copy this equation and take it back to the risk calculator Constructor and paste it into the regression box. And I'll just paste it right above the equation I had in there previously. So make some space, paste in the new equation. And one thing to be aware of is that this temporary variable needs to be exactly the same as the variable later on in the equation, so the calculator recognizes it as one and the same. So I need to take off this underscore US. So we just have BMI, and I'll go ahead and save the calculator. And we'll scroll down, and what you'll notice is that the calculator recognized that there are now two new variables it did not know previously, which are weight and height. And what we probably want to do is go ahead and put some units in here to make sure the end user does this correctly. So I'll just say weight in inches and height in pounds. And we can actually also delete our previous BMI variable since we won't be needing that one anymore. And I'll scroll back down and click Save Changes and Construct. And the calculator has refreshed. And if I scroll back down, you can see those variables are no longer green. It's giving me an error, and I think it's because I don't have my parentheses matched up. Let me add another parenthesis here in the BMI calculation and save it one more time. Scroll back down and see if that fixed our problem, and it appears it did. And you can see an example of the calculator here with now weight in inches and height in pounds instead of BMI. I'll just do a example calculation really quick just to make sure this seems to be working okay for a hypothetical patient. And there we go. Seems to think they have a 32% risk mortality. While we're at it, why don't we go ahead and I'll show you how to do the same thing for GFR. So here's the equation for the simple old MDRD equation for calculating GFR in the United States. This is using creatinine in units of milligrams per deciliter. And so the way this works is, let's say if someone is female, then this will get converted to a 1, and it will multiply the equation by that 0.742 factor for women. If gender is anything but female, if it's male, then this will be raised to the 0 power, which will just put a 1 in this equation and not make the adjustment for women. So we just want to take this and highlight and copy it back to the risk calculator constructor, and you don't want to forget to put a semicolon on the end of this since it's a temporary variable. And I'll just paste it right below BMI that we created previously and click save once again. We'll scroll down and see what the calculator thought of our new variables, and you can see now that it recognizes gender as a categorical variable with 2 levels. Now it recognizes both male and female, so we want to take off this gender male here and just make it a drop down box. And then scrolling down further, you can see now it has a variable for creatinine, and we wanted to find some units for that again. And for race, I think we can leave it the way it is. So I'll go ahead and save it one more time. And we'll scroll down and see how we did here. And it looks like it does not have any errors. And there is our new calculator that now has weight in inches, height in pounds, and creatinine in milligrams per deciliter, but should give you the same results as we had before. However, I did forget to delete the GFR variable, so you want to make sure you scroll back up and do that, since we don't need that one any further. And in a subsequent video, I'll be showing how to have multiple outcomes. Sometimes just for testing purposes, I will actually add an extra outcome for these equations like BMI and GFR, just so I can double check to make sure that they are being calculated properly and it matches up with my data. I saved the calculator again, and you can see that GFR came back one more time and that we're getting this error. And what I did is I did not, I referred to GFR in 2 different ways. So that was the thing I was warning you about before. What we actually want to do is take off this underscore US, or otherwise it's going to keep giving that error. Then I also went back up and deleted the GFR variable. And this time it did not add it back, and it does not appear to be showing any errors. And you can see down here now there's no longer GFR. So that's it. I hope that helps make these calculators a little easier to use. But please contact us if you ever have any questions or problems. Once again, here's the calculator team and the website for viewing calculators that we've made. Thank you.